Hello, and welcome to the What to Eat Over 60 channel. If you're interested in staying healthy as you age, especially through your diet, please subscribe to our channel today for valuable and helpful information. Asterisk, most seniors are told to eat more fruit, but no one explains that some fruits, especially after age 60, can quietly destroy your circulation, weaken your legs, and accelerate muscle loss. This isn't just about sugar. It's about how your aging body reacts to certain compounds within these fruits and how they spike your blood sugar, deplete magnesium, and even weaken oxygen flow to your muscles. Asterisk, in this video, you'll discover 7 fruits older adults should stop eating immediately and what to eat instead to protect your strength, your stamina, and your balance. 1. Bananas. The contextual choice * bananas are often seen as the poster child for healthy snacks. They're everywhere in gym bags, lunchboxes, morning routines, and for good reason. They're easy to peel, require no preparation, and offer a quick energy boost. But here's what no one tells you. Bananas are contextual. That means whether they help you or hurt you depends entirely on your lifestyle. Asterisk, if you're physically active, moving, walking, lifting, sweating, bananas are a fast-digesting fuel your body can use immediately. But if you're not, if you're over 60 and living a more sedentary life, then bananas can quietly contribute to your fatigue, belly fat, insulin resistance, and even muscle cramps. Asterisk, let's start with the obvious. Bananas are sugar bombs in disguise. A medium banana contains about 14 grams of sugar, and while it's natural, it still behaves like sugar in your bloodstream. When you eat a banana, especially on an empty stomach or without protein or fat to buffer it, your blood sugar spikes fast. That spike triggers a surge in insulin, the hormone responsible for clearing sugar from your blood and storing it, often as fat. When that surge ends, your blood sugar drops, and you feel it. Fatigue, brain fog, irritability, and often a craving for more sugar to bring it back up. That roller coaster can feel like aging, but it's really just unstable glucose. Asterisk now. If you're actively walking 10,000 steps a day, exercising, gardening vigorously, your muscles are using that sugar as fuel. Your insulin response is sharp. Your metabolism can handle the spike. But if your day includes long hours of sitting, little activity, or light housework, that sugar has nowhere to go. So your body stores it primarily in your midsection, which is the most dangerous place to accumulate fat because it surrounds your organs. Over time, this increases your risk for type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Asterisk, and the issue isn't just the sugar. It's also a nutrient imbalance. Bananas are famously high in potassium, which helps regulate heart rhythm, nerve function, and fluid balance. Sounds great until you realize they're critically low in magnesium. And that matters because potassium and magnesium are a pair. They work together to support muscle function, hydration, and nerve signaling. When one is high and the other is low, especially in older adults whose magnesium reserves are already depleted due to stress, medication, and age, you start to get symptoms. Muscle cramps are the most common. Leg cramps at night, toe spasms, calf tightness. These aren't always random. They're often signals that your mineral ratios are off. And ironically, many older adults doubled down on bananas to fix cramps, thinking more potassium will help when what they truly need is magnesium. As a result, the cramps get worse, not better. Your body isn't confused. It's trying to get your attention. Asterisk, so, what's the takeaway? It's not that bananas are evil. They're not. They're a tool, but like any tool, they have to be used at the right time for the right job by the right person. If you're about to go for a long hike, if you're lifting weights, if you're dancing, playing tennis, or doing manual labor, a banana makes sense. Your body is ready to absorb and utilize that fast energy. But if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, snacking on a banana because it's healthy. You're just spiking your blood sugar for no purpose. And your body's going to pay the price. Asterisk, if you enjoy bananas and want to include them, find ways to upgrade how you eat them. Never eat them on their own. Pair them with protein and healthy fats. Try half a banana with almond butter and cinnamon. Add it to a smoothie with greens, chia seeds, and collagen protein. Or eat it after activity, not as a passive snack. And limit the frequency. Every day is too much for a sedentary lifestyle. Once or twice a week, when your body has earned the fuel. It's a more realistic rhythm. Asterisk, and if you're experiencing post-breakfast fatigue, unexplained weight gain around your midsection, energy crashes, mid-morning or evening cramps. Start tracking your banana habits. Pull them out for 2 weeks and see what happens. Replace them with lower glycemic fruits like berries or green apples. Eat more magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, or dark chocolate. Drink more mineralized water. Support your body's actual needs, not its cravings. We live in a world that likes easy answers. But health is about context. Bananas aren't bad, but they're often a mismatch. The older you get, the more precision matters. Every bite either supports your energy or robs it. Every food either fits your metabolism or clogs the system. And the only way to know is to listen not to trends, but to your own body. Ask yourself honestly, do you feel sharper, lighter, clearer after eating a banana? Or do you feel fuzzy, fatigued, and bloated an hour later? Your body's talking. It always is. And sometimes health begins by questioning what you assumed was safe. Bananas aren't bad, but they're not for everyone every day, especially if you're not moving. 2. Grapes. Sugar in a fresh guy's asterisk, they look innocent, fresh, bite-sized. A bowl of grapes feels like a safe, even virtuous snack. Something instead of candy or chips. And for years, you've probably been told they're heart-healthy, full of antioxidants. Like resveratrol, good for your skin. Even protective against disease. But for older adults, especially those not moving much or dealing with sluggish circulation, grapes can quietly become one of the most confusingly inflammatory and metabolically disruptive culprits in your daily diet. Asterisk, here's why. Grapes are almost pure sugar in soft-shelled, juicy disguise. They're packed with glucose and fructose, 2 forms of sugar that hit your bloodstream fast. Just a handful, just 15 to 20 grapes, can pack over 20 grams of sugar, more sugar than in a small candy bar. And unlike that candy bar, grapes don't come with a label that makes you pause. They don't feel indulgent. They feel natural. But natural doesn't mean neutral. And for a senior body that's less efficient at processing sugar, grapes can do more harm than you think, especially when eaten mindlessly throughout the day. Asterisk, the problem starts with the glucose spike. Grapes hit your bloodstream fast, and the result is a rapid rise in blood sugar. In younger, more insulin-sensitive bodies, this spike is handled quickly. But for older adults, especially those dealing with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or diminished pancreatic function, this sugar lingers. It creates a spiky, bumpy roller coaster, flooding your system with insulin one moment, then draining your energy the next. And every time this happens, the body pays a price. Increased inflammation, weakened capillary walls, and stress on the vascular system. That's when you start to feel it. Swelling in your ankles, puffiness in your fingers, heaviness in your legs by the afternoon. These aren't just bad circulation signs. They're signals of blood sugar overloading your body, struggling to clear sugar from the blood. Maintain fluid balance and preserve vascular tone. Asterisk, grapes may feel light, but their metabolic impact is anything but. Especially if you're dealing with issues like varicose veins, neuropathy, tingling in the extremities, or restless legs at night. Grapes may be quietly fueling the very problems you're trying to resolve. And ironically, most older adults eat Grapes between meals when their insulin is already unstable and their digestion is slower. This not only spikes blood sugar unpredictably, but it also taxes the liver, which has to process the sugar not burned for energy. And if you're not moving, if you're sitting, reading, watching TV, or resting after lunch, that sugar has nowhere to go. It gets stored. And where does it often end up? Your midsection, your liver, and your bloodstream. Over time, this increases belly fat, fatty liver, triglycerides, and systemic inflammation. Asterisk, so do grapes contain antioxidants. Yes, specifically resveratrol, which has been linked to cardiovascular benefits. But here's the truth. You need pounds of grapes to get a therapeutic dose of resveratrol. And by then, you've flooded your body with so much sugar that the benefit is buried beneath metabolic stress. If you truly want resveratrol, you're better off with a supplement or getting it from less sugary fermented sources like red wine in moderation. Grapes aren't harmful because they lack nutrition. They're harmful because they overload the system with sugar before any benefits can accrue. Asterisk, so, what's the alternative? If you enjoy fruit, there are safer options. Berries are lower in sugar and higher in fiber. A handful of raspberries or blueberries delivers antioxidants, supports blood vessels, and has a far lower glycemic impact. Even sliced green apples with cinnamon or pears in moderation give you sweetness without the sugar spike. And if you're going to eat fruit, do it with a meal, not alone. Pair it with fat, protein, or fiber to slow the glucose response. Never snack on grapes in isolation, especially not in the afternoon or evening when your insulin sensitivity is at its lowest. Asterisk, and this is the most important point. Your body changes with age. What worked at 30 may no longer serve you at 60 or 70. Your sugar tolerance, blood pressure regulation, fluid retention control, and efficient blood flow all diminish. And that's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to adapt. Grapes may have been fine when you were chasing kids or running errands all day, but now, when activity is lower and recovery is slower, you have to become more selective, not restrictive, but intentional. So, if you're struggling with swelling, post-meal fatigue, restless legs, or tingling in your feet, ask yourself honestly. How often are grapes a part of your routine? Are they helping, or are they just a habit? A silently healthy indulgence. Your body doesn't lie. It speaks through symptoms. And if yours are sending signals, it's time to listen. Grapes aren't bad, but they're not a good fit for many older adults. Don't be fooled by the word fruit. Be guided by how you feel. Light, energized, sharp, or swollen, tired, and foggy. Your circulation, your insulin, and your energy deserve better than a fruit that tricks your system while pretending to nourish it. Know your body, respect your biology, and don't fall for healthy-looking sugar in disguise. 3. Watermelon. Sweetness with hidden dangers. Asterisk, it's the ultimate summer fruit. Sweet, juicy, refreshing. It reminds you of family picnics, long afternoons, and children's laughter. There's something undeniably nostalgic about slicing into a big wedge of watermelon on a warm day. The bright pink flesh, the coolness, the simplicity. And culturally, watermelon has attained the status of one of the healthy fruits. After all, it's mostly water, hydrating, light. Asterisk, but here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to say out loud. Watermelon is one of the worst fruits you can regularly snack on if you're over 60 and inactive. Not because it's unnatural, but because your body can no longer afford the blood sugar chaos it creates. Asterisk, let's start with what watermelon is. It's about 92% water, and the rest is primarily sugar. There's very little fiber, very little fat, and no real protein to slow down digestion. That means when you eat it, especially on an empty stomach or without any other food to balance it, it rapidly enters your bloodstream. In scientific terms, it has a high glycemic index of about 72 to 80 depending on ripeness. That's higher than white bread. And as you get older, as insulin sensitivity naturally decreases, your pancreas doesn't respond as well. When blood sugar regulation becomes more fragile, that kind of spike creates a metabolic storm. Your blood sugar rockets up. You feel a quick rush, maybe even a false sense of energy. But within 30 to 60 minutes, that sugar drops, leaving you weaker than before. Your hands might feel shaky. Your legs might feel heavier. You're thinking fuzzier. Asterisk, and if this cycle repeats day after day, snack after snack, your blood vessels begin to suffer, especially the microcapillaries in your feet, hands, and brain. Watermelon may taste light, but its effects are anything. But here's what's rarely discussed. Chronic high glycemic foods damage your microcirculation. That's the network of tiny vessels that delivers oxygen and nutrients to your fingers, toes, eyes, and brain. Over time, blood sugar spikes inflame these vessels, making them stiff and dysfunctional. Blood no longer circulates easily. Tissues don't receive the nutrients they need, and you start to feel early symptoms. Cold extremities, numb or tingling sensations, restless legs at night, lightheadedness when standing, or even slower healing wounds on your lower legs. These aren't just signs of aging. They're signs of poor circulation. And your fruit choices can either help or hurt that process. Asterisk, now add in the fact that most watermelon is consumed alone in the mid-afternoon, after lunch, or as a snack. It's rarely paired with protein or fat. That means there's no buffer. It slides into your system like liquid sugar. And the larger the portion, the more the damage. You don't have to eat an entire melon to feel it. Just a few slices a day can build a pattern of instability in your blood sugar and circulation. And for older adults, especially those with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, this is a recipe for long-term decline. Asterisk, worse still, that refreshing feeling is misleading. People eat watermelon thinking it's hydrating, but without the minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium to hold water in your cells, it passes straight through you. That can leave you feeling more dehydrated than before. You might find yourself urinating more often, yet feeling strangely fatigued with a dry mouth and dizziness that doesn't fit the amount of water you thought you were consuming. Again, not always aging. Often electrolyte imbalance due to poor hydration strategies. Watermelon gives you water, but not the essential elements to hold it. Asterisk, so, what can you do? You don't have to swear off watermelon for life, but you do need to stop eating it mindlessly. If you're going to have it, treat it like a dessert, not a hydration tool. Eat a small portion after a balanced meal, not on an empty stomach. Pair it with fat or protein, a few almonds, a slice of cheese, a hard-boiled egg. This helps stabilize your blood sugar and slows absorption. And most importantly, don't eat it every day. Save it for moments, not habits. And watch how your energy, your balance, your focus respond. Asterisk, if you've been tired for a long time for no reason. If your legs feel like they're dragging, if your mornings are foggy, or your afternoons are crashing, take time to look closely at what you're eating. You might think you're making a light choice, but your body, especially over 60, doesn't process watermelon the way it used to. What was once harmless now comes at a cost. Circulation matters. Blood flow matters. Clarity matters. And every bite sends a signal towards health or away from it. So the next time you reach for a piece of watermelon, ask yourself, am I energizing my body or flooding it? Your answer will shape how you feel the rest of the day. For fruit juice, all kinds. The hidden destroyer asterisk, it's one of the biggest lies in the grocery store. One that's been sold to you since childhood. A glass of orange juice with breakfast is healthy. Apple juice is a smart alternative to soda. That Grape juice boosts heart health. The label says it all. 100% juice, no added sugar. Immune support, packed with vitamin C, it sounds nutritious. It feels like a responsible choice, but if you're over 60, especially if you're not exercising regularly, drinking juice every day is not just useless, but quietly destroying your blood vessels, your metabolism, and your ability to stay steady. On your feet, here's the truth. No one markets to you. Fruit juice is just concentrated sugar. It doesn't matter if it's organic. It doesn't matter if it's cold-pressed, freshly squeezed, or has no additives. Once you remove the fiber from a fruit, once you take away the chew, the satiety, the slow digestion, what you're left with is liquid sugar that slams your liver, spikes your blood sugar, and accelerates aging. And the older you get, the harder it is to recover from that damage. Let's break this down. A glass of orange juice, just 8 ounces, contains about 21 to 26 grams of sugar. Most of that is in the form of fructose. That's the equivalent of 5 or 6 teaspoons of sugar in one go. But you don't feel like you just had dessert. You feel like you did something good because the industry has trained you to see juice as a vitamin. But fructose doesn't act like glucose. It doesn't go directly into your bloodstream to be used by your muscles. It's processed almost entirely in the liver. And when you dump large doses of fructose into your liver day after day, especially without fiber or movement, the results are predictable and devastating. Fatty liver, insulin resistance, and inflammation. Your liver, already slower due to age, gets overwhelmed. It begins to store that excess fructose as visceral fat, the dangerous fat that wraps around your organs. And this visceral fat doesn't just sit there. It releases hormones and inflammatory signals that damage your blood vessels, slow muscle recovery, and increase your risk for falls, swelling, and mobility decline. And all of this can start from something as innocent as 1 glass of juice every day. Worse still. Many older adults drink juice first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. That means no food to slow digestion, no fiber to bind the sugar, and no nutrients to buffer the hit. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, and within an hour or two, you're tired, sluggish, craving more sugar. And if you pair that juice with toast or cereal, you've just piled sugar on sugar. Your pancreas goes into overdrive. Your circulation weakens, and your legs feel it. That unsteady heaviness when walking. The wobble on the stairs. That struggle to keep your balance after a meal. That's not just aging. That's sugar-induced vascular fatigue. And it's not just orange juice, grape juice, cranberry juice, pomegranate juice. Even the no-added sugar versions hit the body the same way. Without fiber, your body treats them like soft drinks. In fact, most juices contain as much sugar as soda, and sometimes more. They flood the bloodstream with calories that don't satisfy. You drink them, but you don't feel full. You just feel bloated, sluggish, and strangely depleted. And then comes the worst part: your body stops responding to insulin appropriately. That's called insulin resistance, and it's the first domino to metabolic disease. It's why some older adults gain weight even when eating less. It's why belly fat becomes stubborn. It's why energy disappears after walking even a short distance. Because once insulin stops working well, your muscles can't absorb fuel. Circulation doesn't adapt, and your ability to stay upright, stable, and lucid becomes compromised. So, let's be blunt. If you're drinking juice every day, stop now. It's not hydrating you. It's not protecting you. It's not giving you real energy. It's hurting you. Even fresh homemade juice, even the kind with pulp. It all lacks the one single thing that makes fruit healthy: fiber. You're not drinking fruit. You're drinking fruit sugar. And here's what's wild. Many older adults feel better within days of ditching juice. Their bloating goes down. Their legs feel lighter. They feel more stable when they stand. Their hunger levels normalize. That hazy afternoon crash disappears. Because when you stop flooding your bloodstream with fructose, your liver stops gasping. Your insulin starts working again, and your muscles, brain, and guts start to settle. Asterisk if you want hydration, drink water. If you want flavor, add lemon, cucumber, or mint. If you want nutrients, eat whole fruit with its skin and pulp. Apples, berries, pears. These still contain sugar, yes, but also water, fiber, and bulk. They satisfy you with less impact. Your body digests them more slowly. Your blood sugar will be more stable, and your hydration is supported, not stolen. That's how nature designed fruit to work. Asterisk juice is a hijack of that design, a shortcut that comes at a very high price. So the next time you reach for a bottle of juice, ask yourself, am I drinking this for my health or for a habit that's keeping me stuck? Because your body is talking in your circulation, in your balance, in your cravings, and it's not whispering anymore. Break this cycle. Ditch the juice. Your liver, your blood vessels, your legs, and your lucidity will thank you. 5. Dried fruit, the hidden metabolic disaster asterisk. They're small, sweet, and easy to stash in a bag or bowl. A handful of raisins here, a couple of dried apricots after dinner. Some dates with almonds in the afternoon. Dried fruit has become healthy. Candy, the thing people reach for when they're trying to avoid dessert but still want something sweet. And the marketing doesn't help. You see phrases like no added sugar, gluten-free, natural, rich in antioxidants. Asterisk, but let's be clear about one thing. Dried fruit is not a healthy snack for most older adults. In fact, for many, it's a hidden metabolic and hydration disaster behind a health halo. To understand why, you need to look beyond the size and the label. A raisin is not just a grape. A date is not just a fruit. Once you dry a fruit, you remove one of its critical components, water. And with the water gone, the sugar inside becomes hyper-concentrated. What was once a juicy bite of balanced nutrition becomes a calorie-dense, fibrous, sugar-packed bomb that the body processes more like a piece of candy than anything resembling whole food. Asterisk, consider the numbers. A single date contains about 16 grams of sugar, more than a cookie. A cup of raisins, over 85 grams of sugar. That's like drinking 2 cans of soda, but without the liquid. And because dried fruit is small, people eat it by the handful. They don't chew slowly. They don't get full. So it's easy to consume 3, 4, 5 times the amount of sugar your body can handle in one sitting without even realizing it. Asterisk, this. Sugar surge causes immediate damage. Your blood sugar spikes, your insulin surges, and your energy, brain, and mood go on another roller coaster. At first, you might feel energized, perhaps a little satisfied, but within an hour, your blood sugar plummets and you feel tired, sluggish, maybe even irritable. And because there's no fiber or hydration to balance that load, your digestive system gets bogged down, your joints feel tighter, and your muscles lose elasticity. Asterisk, and here's where it gets even worse for older adults. Dried fruit dehydrates your body. Your muscles, ligaments, and organs rely on water to stay pliable and function properly. Water helps your joints glide smoothly. It helps your heart beat regularly. It keeps your skin supple and your digestive system from slowing down. But dried fruit, while it sounds moist and chewy, pulls water out of your system to be digested. They absorb liquid as they break down in your gut. Liquid your aging body cannot afford to lose. That's why you often feel bloated, crampy, or even constipated after eating dried fruit. Your system is dry from the inside out and you're feeding it more dryness. Asterisk, now. Add this to the fact that many dried fruits are coated in oil to prevent sticking or are infused with added sugars, especially cranberries, pineapple, and mango. Even those labeled no added sugar can contain preservatives like sulfur dioxide that can irritate the lungs and digestive tract in sensitive individuals. These are not clean foods. They're processed products that have had water removed, been loaded with sugar, and preserved for shelf life. Not for your life. Asterisk, and the impact shows. Subtle calf tightness, restless legs at night, increased joint pain. Slower recovery after walks, muscle fatigue that doesn't fit your effort, dry mouth even after drinking water. Lightheadedness when standing, or constant craving for snacks. These are not just signs of aging. They're signs your body is being pushed out of balance by what you eat. And dried fruit is often the hidden culprit. Asterisk. So, what's the solution? It's simple. Cut them out or treat them like dessert. If you're going to have dried fruit, do it rarely. Eat a tiny amount. 2 dates, not 8. 5 raisins, not a handful, and always with something to slow sugar absorption, protein, fat, or fiber. Better yet, replace them entirely. Eat fresh. Fruit. A few slices of apple, pear, or berries. These still contain sugar, yes, but also water, fiber, and bulk. They satisfy you with less impact. Your body digests them more slowly. Your blood sugar will be more stable, and your hydration is supported, not stolen. And if you're reaching for dried fruit out of habit as something to chew while watching TV, to satisfy that afternoon slump, or as a better than a chocolate bar. Option. Ask yourself what your body is truly wanting. Is it energy? Is it connection? Is it hydration? Dried fruit is easy, but it doesn't solve the real problem. It just covers it in sugar. You deserve more than that asterisk. So, the next time you pass that trail mix aisle, or those tiny little boxes of raisins, or those fancy organic dates at the store, remember this? Small doesn't mean safe. Sweet doesn't mean smart. And if your joints are stiffer, your energy is lower, your cravings are stronger, or your digestion is slower than it used to be, dried fruit may be silently holding you back. Don't fall for health food marketing. Don't let nostalgia trick your biology. Feed your body what it truly needs. Hydration, stability, clarity, real nourishment, not dry sugar in disguise. 6. Canned fruit and syrup, a metabolic threat asterisk at first glance. It feels like a harmless convenience. A can of peaches, a cup of pears, slices of pineapple suspended in sweet golden syrup. You tell yourself it's still fruit. And after all, fruit is healthy, right? It's not cake. It's not donuts. It's not candy. But here's the unspoken truth most older adults never hear until it's too late. Asterisk. Once fruit is canned in syrup, it stops being food and becomes a metabolic threat. It's not just less healthy, it's dangerously deceptive behind a wholesome facade. And if you're over 60, struggling with circulation, diminished energy, swollen legs, or tingling in your feet, this health food could be one of the culprits dragging you down. Asterisk, let's be clear, canned fruit and syrup is no longer fruit. It's fruit that's been peeled, softened, and drowned in sugar water. The syrup isn't just sweet. It's often made with high fructose corn syrup, one of the most inflammatory substances in the modern food supply. This isn't the kind of sugar your body can burn off with a quick walk. This is the sneaky kind that goes straight into your bloodstream, overwhelms your liver, and damages the endothelium, the thin, delicate lining of your blood vessels that controls how blood flows to your heart, brain, muscles, and most importantly, your legs. That's where the real damage begins. Asterisk, when the endothelium is inflamed, which is often the case in older adults consuming syrupy, processed foods, circulation slows. Blood no longer moves cleanly to your lower body. Blood vessels constrict. Oxygen delivery drops, and the tissues in your legs, feet, and toes suffer. That's when you start to notice the signs, more swelling, especially in the ankles. A heavier feeling in your legs after sitting or walking. Numbness or tingling in your feet that comes and goes without explanation. Or vaguely realizing that you just don't move as freely anymore. Not because your muscles are weak, but because your blood flow is restricted. This isn't just aging. That's diet-induced vascular dysfunction. And canned fruit and syrup is one of the fastest ways to trigger it. And here's the deceptive part. You think you're making the right choice? The label says peaches or fruit cocktail. Shelf-stable, easy to open, served in hospitals, retirement homes, and even labeled light or in-light syrup, as if that somehow makes it better. But light syrup is still syrup. Small can often contains 20 to 30 grams of sugar in one sitting. That's more than a candy bar, and it doesn't come with the guilt. So people eat it more often, after breakfast, with lunch, as a healthy dessert. And every time you flood your body with sugar, that spikes your insulin, disrupts your digestion, and inflames your vascular system, all without ever making you feel full. That's because canned fruit and syrup doesn't just add sugar. It takes away what fruit is supposed to provide. No fiber, no hydration, no structure. The heat from the processing breaks down the integrity of the fruit cells, leaving behind soft, lifeless pulp that digests rapidly and offers almost no real nutrition. Your body treats it like candy because biologically, that's exactly what it is. The chew is gone. The fullness is gone. All that's left is the sweetness and the syrup. And your blood vessels are paying the price. And you feel that price in small, frustrating ways. The way your legs ache after standing for a while. The way you need to elevate your legs more often. That strange tightness in your calves. That shakiness in your thighs when going upstairs. These aren't random symptoms. They're little cries for help from your circulation, that your endothelial lining is inflamed, your blood viscosity is increasing, and your oxygen delivery is slowing down. The worst part, over time, this damage becomes normalized. You start to think, maybe I'm just getting old. But the truth is, your body is fighting unnecessary friction. And it's losing because when blood can't flow freely, everything becomes harder. Walking, thinking, healing, sleeping. And no pill can reverse what daily sugar from canned fruit is doing at the microvascular level. So what should you do? Simple. Eliminate canned fruit and syrup entirely. There's no moderation with this one. It doesn't fit your biology. It doesn't provide protection. It doesn't help you age well. If you want fruit, eat fresh, whole seasonal fruit with its skin when possible. If that's not available, choose unsweetened frozen fruit or fruit packed in only water or its own juice. And even then, read the label carefully. Drain it, rinse it, reduce the sugar exposure, and most importantly, listen to your body, after cutting out canned fruit in syrup. Many older adults report feeling lighter, less swollen, clearer-minded, and even less reliant on their walking aids. That's not magic. That's the body finally functioning without interruption. That's blood flowing where it needs to go. That's tissues getting oxygen again. That's aging on your terms, not aging under the weight of fake fruit. So no, canned peaches are not harmless. Pineapple in syrup is not light. And those little plastic fruit cups given out in medical facilities, they're not nourishing. They're undermining one spoonful at a time. Your legs are crying for freedom. Your heart is begging for ease. Your blood needs space to move. Say no to syrup. Say yes to real food, real health, real circulation, and give your body the chance to move, like it still remembers how to, because it does. 7. Overripe mangoes. The sweetness that harms mangoes can be healthy when eaten in moderation and with fat. But overripe mangoes contain more sugar and less fiber. This floods your system, weakens insulin response, and leaves you feeling dizzy or heavy in your legs. Older adults often add mangoes to smoothies or desserts, unaware of how much it sabotages their circulation. Asterisk, what to eat instead. Asterisk, berries, especially blueberries and raspberries, are high in antioxidants, low in sugar, and have a protective effect on blood vessels. Asterisk, raw apples with skin, high in fiber, regulate blood sugar. Asterisk, avocados, technically a fruit, are packed with potassium and healthy fats to support muscle tone. Asterisk, not all fruits are friendly after 60. Some will spike your sugar, harm your legs, and quietly steal your strength. Avoid the 7 listed above and power your body with fruits that protect, not poison, your muscles. Because if your legs go, your freedom follows. Step strong. Asterisk, if you found this information helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the What to Eat Over 60 channel so you don't miss our next videos. We're here to help you live a healthier and more active life as you age.